When I ask you what you think the biggest game in the world is, you probably have a few that come to mind. Maybe you think of like the gacha revenue charts and you think of those games. But what if I tell you you're probably not correct? I was invited to Gamescom Germany to check out Honor of Kings World. Thank you to Honor of Kings World for sponsoring today's video. Now, Honor of Kings is genuinely one of the biggest games of all time. The revenue this game makes is through the roof, billions every year. And as you can see from this trailer, it's a stunning game, inspired a lot by Eastern aesthetic and culture. It's an incredibly unique fantasy realm, and Honor of Kings World is a brand new RPG gaming experience that differentiates itself from the traditional Western fantasy. The combat system was by far the coolest thing that I've experienced in this game. I actually got invited up on stage where I could select a member from the crowd to come up and we could try and 1v1 this boss, and albeit, let me just explain, I did have some time in the back booth for about an hour to get used to the combat system because it's really in-depth. But honestly, an hour wasn't enough. There's so many classes, so many different abilities and weapon types that I really wanted more time to get used to the game, and I'm really excited for it to actually release so I can play more. But I invited somebody up for the crowd. We tried to 1v1 or 2v1, I guess, this basically raid boss. It is far from a button mashing experience. You have to be able to time dodges right, parries. Some abilities and some classes have a parry mechanic like the one that I was using. And as you can see, the characters' combat skills and the boss's abilities are insanely breathtaking. They just look incredible. This boss was called the Baifang. It's derived from a divine beast in ancient Chinese myth, Shanghai Jing, and it's basically a one-legged mythological bird. But this thing was no joke, dude. It had a lot of HP. It took like 10 minutes just to beat. You had to use a lot of strategy, grappling into the sky to evade the ground attacks. Some strategies involve being up close, some more far away with a bow, which you'll see very soon, because this person wasn't the only person I was going to try take on this boss with. I actually got to play with Duck as well. Let's go! So the boss is basically supposed to be taken on by 4 people, but we tried to do it with 2 for a bit of an added challenge, and if we won, we got to give away some prizes to the community that were watching. Sadly, the end of the first duel, we got absolutely rolled. I don't really think either of us fully knew how to play the classes just yet, but it was a good little tester for what was to come next, because me and Duck got to take on this boss together. If we won, we got to give out some cool prizes to the crowd, like some controllers and some plushes. As you can see by that, I got absolutely rolled about halfway through here, but luckily Duck absolutely locked in with a range class. I did wonder why I couldn't see him fighting alongside me for half of this fight, but I guess it makes sense after watching it back. It was truly a strategical advantage, and thanks to him we got pretty damn far. Now, unlike traditional MMOs that push players to constantly team up for battles, Honor of Kings World also provides a relaxing environment to enjoy with friends in the huge open world. You can join players in like world hubs where you can just hang out with each other and talk, and you can also build and customize your own home, you know, take part in lifestyle activities like farming and crafting. In a world where there's a lot of games that are doing quite similar things at the minute, Honor of Kings World really did feel like a breath of fresh air to me and everybody else that I spoke to while at Gamescom and played. A lot of games follow a hardcore serious style like, you know, Black Myth Wukong, Phantom Blade Zero, but Honor of Kings World offers a completely different Eastern fantasy experience. It's a really refreshing take. Some of the content is hard, but you can make it easy in specific ways, like just by inviting more people. And it really feels like Honor of Kings World's quality is almost guaranteed guaranteed at this point. Teamy Studio Group, a subsidiary of Tencent, it's a global gaming studio developing and publishing titles across PC, mobile, and console. It already has hundreds of millions of active players worldwide, and they already have super popular titles like I mentioned before with Honor of Kings, generating billions in revenue per year. Call of Duty Mobile, Delta Force, like they know what they're doing. They have the experience, they have the feedback already, and they listen to the player base. We got asked so many questions and got to give genuine feedback in the interview section.
The reason why I found it harder, and this is a good thing I think about the game, I found it harder to play on stage than I did in the back in the private area, and I think that's because I had a headset in the private area, and the game does a really good job with audio cues for when to dodge and when to block and when to parry, when to move. The only time it would be too much is if it was the only thing to do in the game. I think having the option to play solo is always good, like having the AI fill the team instead of other players. I think having like a hub where people can communicate and hang out and make things like guilds, like the social aspect there is really, really good for games like this, 100%. Well, it's hard to say because there wasn't much to go off of right now, but from what we did see, I think for the combat, visuals of when to dodge or parry or things like that would be really good. The audio's really good for it already, but the visuals like could be maybe a little more clearer, at least in the tutorial, to teach you like what you can dodge and what you can't. Because like even now, I still don't really know what the red circle is that closes in when the bird was diving. I don't really know what that meant.
There was a couple of times where the enemy would do an AoE attack all over the field, and like I think you can dodge it if you.
Yeah, so you can grapple into the air and glide.
I was trying to just jump. I was like just jumping, and I kept getting hit, but I got lucky and dodged it one time. So I guess this clearer indication that you need to dodge some kind of audio or visual cue would be nice.
It's hard to balance because you also don't want it to be too easy.
But it's hard to notice at first. Then you get a muscle memory. You get a rhythm after you start to see it. But at first it is hard to get. It takes some time.
I think as well, if I could be very honest here, one thing that would make the character designs do even better is if you'll just add a ton of skins.
Skins
is one thing that.
Yeah.
Huh? You do.
Yeah, we do have skins.
Perfect. Because the character customization was really nice, and a lot of things that games just don't do nowadays is skins, and skins will always be good. So yeah.
Really good game. Fantastic game.
I didn't do any research into the game like on purpose so that I could have a blind experience when I go in here. I love it.
We both have played Honor of Kings before.
Yes.
So we were like, oh, is this going to be like this?
Yeah.
So different.
And I love when game devs are so open to feedback and asking for genuine, honest criticisms of the game and what people want from them. Overall, it was an absolutely incredible experience. I'm super grateful to Honor of Kings World for inviting me to the stage event and for sponsoring today's video.